Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they can't stay consistent with themselves. They start strong, feel inspired for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, and then life gets uncomfortable, boring, or inconvenient, and suddenly the promises they made to themselves don't seem that important anymore. And the scary part is not the missed workout, the skipped habit, or the unfinished goal. The scary part is what happens internally every time you don't show up for yourself, because every broken promise quietly teaches your brain that your word doesn't matter. And once your word doesn't matter to you, nothing you say about your future carries any weight. Staying consistent for yourself is not about motivation. Motivation is emotional, it's unstable. It depends on how you slept, how people treated you, how the day went. If consistency depends on motivation, you're building your life on quicksand. Consistency has to be rooted in identity. You don't ask whether you feel like brushing your teeth. You do it because that's who you are. The moment you shift consistency from something you try to do into something you simply are, everything changes. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop arguing with your excuses. You stop needing external validation to keep going. The hardest part of consistency is that no one is watching. There's no applause for waking up early when you're tired. There's no recognition for doing the work when you're bored. There's no reward handed to you immediately for choosing discipline over comfort. And that's exactly why most people quit. They want results without the silent grind. They want transformation without discomfort. They want confidence without keeping promises. But confidence doesn't come from hype. It comes from evidence. It comes from stacking proof that you can trust yourself. And the only way to build that proof is to show up when it would be easier not to. You have to understand something deeply uncomfortable. Consistency will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you instant gratification. It will cost you old habits, old versions of yourself, and sometimes even old relationships. But inconsistency costs more. It costs you self-respect. It costs you momentum. It costs you years of unrealized potential. Every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," what you're really saying is, "I don't trust myself today." And that statement, repeated enough times, becomes a belief. And beliefs shape behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. Staying consistent for yourself means learning to keep promises small enough to keep daily. Most people aim too big, fail too fast, and then use that failure as proof that they're not disciplined. That's not lack of discipline, that's lack of strategy. Consistency isn't built by heroic effort once in a while. It's built by boring actions done repeatedly. It's built by doing the minimum on your worst days, not the maximum on your best days. The person who succeeds is not the one who goes all in when they feel inspired. It's the one who refuses to go to zero when they feel exhausted. There will be days when you don't feel aligned with your goals. Days when doubt is loud. Days when quitting feels logical. Days when your mind presents you with perfectly reasonable arguments for why skipping today doesn't matter. And in those moments, you have to remember that your mind is designed to protect you from discomfort, not to help you grow. Growth feels unsafe to the brain. Consistency feels threatening to the part of you that wants familiarity. So when resistance shows up, it's not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something is changing. You don't need to win every day in a dramatic way. You just need to refuse to lose the small moments, the decision to show up, the decision to try, the decision to do something instead of nothing. Those decisions compound. They don't look impressive in the moment, but over time they create an unbreakable foundation. And one day, you look back and realize you're standing in a life that was built quietly, patiently, and deliberately. Staying consistent for yourself also means learning to separate your feelings from your commitments. Feelings change, commitments don't. If you only act when you feel good, your progress will always be fragile. But when you act because you decided, progress becomes inevitable. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-care at the highest level. It's choosing long-term respect over short-term relief. It's saying no to the version of you that wants comfort so you can say yes to the version of you that wants growth. You have to stop waiting for the perfect time. Perfect time is a myth created by fear. There will always be stress. There will always be distractions. There will always be reasons to delay. Consistency is built by acting anyway, by doing the work while imperfect, by showing up before you feel ready. Readiness is not a prerequisite for action. Action creates readiness. Confidence is not something you find. It's something you earn through repeated follow-through. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is this: stop trying to be extreme and start trying to be reliable. Reliable to yourself, reliable in your habits, reliable in your effort. When you become someone who can be counted on by yourself, everything changes. You stop chasing motivation because you don't need it anymore. You stop depending on external encouragement because your internal standard is enough. Staying consistent for yourself means accepting that some days will feel meaningless. You'll wonder if it's worth it. You'll question whether your effort matters. You'll feel invisible. But meaning is not always felt in the moment. Sometimes meaning is only visible in retrospect. Sometimes the value of what you're doing today won't be clear for months or years. And that's where faith in the process comes in. Not blind faith, but earned faith. Faith built on repetition. Faith built on showing up again and again. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. If your environment makes it easy to quit and hard to stay consistent, willpower won't save you. You have to design your life in a way that supports the person you're trying to become. Remove friction where you can. Add structure where you need it. Make consistency the default, not the exception. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. There's a version of you watching every decision you make. A future version that either benefits from your discipline or pays the price for your excuses. Staying consistent for yourself is an act of respect for that future version. It's saying, I care enough about who I'm becoming to do the hard thing today. And that choice, repeated enough times, creates a quiet confidence that no one can take from you. The world will test you. Life will interrupt you. You will fail sometimes. Consistency does not mean never slipping. It means never quitting. It means returning faster. It means not letting one bad day turn into a bad week, a bad month, or a bad year. Progress is not linear. Commitment must be. At some point, consistency stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like alignment. You no longer force yourself to show up. You show up because it would feel wrong not to. That's when you know you've changed, not when results show up, but when your standards do. When your identity no longer allows you to abandon yourself. When keeping promises to yourself becomes non-negotiable. When discipline feels less like resistance and more like integrity. Staying consistent for yourself is choosing who you are every single day. Not when it's easy, not when it's exciting, but when it's repetitive, uncomfortable, and quiet. That's where real transformation lives. That's where self-trust is built. That's where potential turns into reality. And every day you show up, even imperfectly, you reinforce one powerful truth inside yourself that slowly but relentlessly reshapes your life.